course, the minimum sentence for murder is 30 years. The maximum sentence is life imprisonment as to each count. And on the weapons charge, the sentence is up to 5 years or 5 years, which has to be concurrent if a life sentence is imposed. When would you all like to reconvene for sentencing? I would like to give everyone an adequate opportunity to prepare for it.
State will be ready at 9:30 in the morning, Your Honor.
We could do it at 9:30 tomorrow morning also.
All right. The defendant is remanded to the custody of the Colleton County Sheriff's Department. And he may be taken away. Manifold lady and members of the jury, I want to thank you on behalf of the citizens of the state of South Carolina and your fellow citizens of Colleton County. You did not volunteer for this service. You were called upon by being summoned to appear, and Providence have brought you to this moment in time and these weeks in time. I know that all of you have been here at great sacrifice, particularly the juror whose job was on the line until a miracle happened, I guess, that allowed him to be able to leave rather than leave after 2 or 3 weeks. But I want to thank each one of you all individually and collectively. It's not often that you're called upon to sit in judgment of the actions of your fellow man, but you all responded and gave due consideration to the evidence. I will make no comment now as to the extent or the overwhelming nature of the evidence, but certainly the verdict that you've reached is supported by the evidence, circumstantial evidence, direct evidence, all of the evidence pointed to only one conclusion. That's the conclusion that you all reached. So I applaud you all for, as a group and as a unit and individually, evaluating the evidence and coming to a proper conclusion as you saw the law, as you saw the facts. Now that you've served for the next year, you're not eligible to serve again. Now, of course, many people never get called upon, but you're not eligible for the next year, and for 2 additional years, you can be exempted from service because no person is required to serve on jury duty in this court more often than once every 3 years. Tomorrow morning at 9:30, we will reconvene for sentencing. You all have no role in that because that's solely up to the judge, to me. You're welcome to come back.
Okay, so a live look there from Walterboro, South Carolina, following the verdict. Alex Murdaugh guilty of murdering his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul. A very quick verdict as well. And for more on this, we want to dive into it even further. Bring in now attorney, legal expert Ken Belkin, a friend of the program here, to talk further about this. Ken, thanks for being here. I mean, wow, how quick did this verdict come? Were you expecting anything like this?
The common knowledge is that when a jury reaches a verdict quick, as a defense attorney, it's usually not good for your client. It usually means that they're going to convict. I, for one, gotta say, I thought maybe an acquittal was in the cards here. He did testify very compellingly on the stand. I think the prosecution was very sloppy with respect to their case, how they laid out a motive. But all in all, the jury was clear. They're the ones that were in the room. They were the ones that heard the evidence, and they're the ones that rendered the verdict.
Yeah, that's all coming just about 2 hours into deliberation. So a very quick decision for sure. And tomorrow we're going to be hearing the sentencing when they report back in court at 9:30 tomorrow. What is your anticipation of that?
So under South Carolina law, for murder, you can face anywhere from 30 years to life in jail or the death penalty. Now, prosecutors in this case were not seeking the death penalty. I do suspect he is going to get life imprisonment. And that is because before he testified, before he was convicted, he was legally presumed innocent. Now he is legally guilty. He is factually guilty. The jury has rendered their verdict, and he took the stand in that trial to try and skirt and get away from his guilt. And the court is going to hold that against him.
And of course, he's been found guilty now on all counts. Do you think the focus will be on Maggie and Paul and the killings of them, or what do you think the sentencing will really narrow in on?
I think the fact that he took the stand is gonna go against him in this, even though it really shouldn't and it's not supposed to. When a criminal defendant takes the stand, and the court's going to take the position that he was lying on the stand because he is factually guilty now, and he took the stand and said unequivocally that he did not kill his wife and son. They're going to hold that against him and look to hit him with the hardest sentence possible. I assume the prosecution is going to, heavily argue for the heaviest sentence possible, which is life imprisonment. To be clear, though, he's already been indicted 19 times on 99 different financial-related crimes and was probably going to be serving something close to 300 years in prison on financial crimes anyway. So this is kind of, this is, for lack of a better term, kind of just the icing on the cake.
Can we talk again, Ken, about just the arguments presented by both the defense and the prosecution, just expanding a little bit more on their jobs in this and how everything ultimately was presented in this case?
Look, I think the prosecution had a really hard time cross-examining Alex Murdaugh. The fact of the matter is he was a very skilled attorney that sort of fell into disrepute. He did a number of heinous and illegal things and was also the victim of very severe opioid abuse and addiction. But which presumably he's cleaned up. He was very sharp on the stand, and I don't think the prosecution was ready to really cross-examine a defendant. Typically, defendants do not take the stand in criminal cases to testify, and because of that, prosecutors do not get enough practice cross-examining defendants so that when it does happen, they almost seem like they're caught off guard to a certain extent.
And what about victim impact statements? Who do you think that we can expect to hear from?
It seemed like his family was really behind him and really believed him that he did not commit these crimes. And I, for one, even though he's convicted, I'm a little bit torn because I failed to see the motive here, what the logic was in committing these murders. It just sort of baffles me. And certainly there are no shortage of other people that had animosity towards this man and this family that might take up arms against them. But hey, the jury has spoken now. He's convicted and he's going to jail.
And what about Alex's reaction, hearing that verdict being read out loud, and Buster as well? We saw a little bit of both of them during that verdict while it was read.
Well, look, they're both lawyers. Alex is a lawyer. Buster, I believe, failed out of law school or was kicked out of law school, if I'm not mistaken. But in any event, they both they come from a family of lawyers, a legal dynasty in South Carolina. They know the ropes, and they know that even though he has lost the trial, the war is not over. This battle is surely lost, but certainly many appealable issues were created over the course of the trial, such as on cross-examination, all of his prior bad acts coming into evidence. You know, the prosecutor cross-examined him pretty much on A to Z of all of the financial crimes that he has been accused of committing. And I think that creates an appealable issue, whether that's relevant to this case, whether that was a proper line of questioning. But there are a lot of appealable issues that no doubt have been created over the course of this trial in this case. And I'm sure his family knows that that's going to be the next battleground for them.
And so, Ken, with this all happening so quickly, do you expect then for an appeal to be filed?
Yeah, I'm a New York attorney. In New York, you have to file a notice of appeal within 30 days of the verdict. So I would assume there's some sort of similar process down there in South Carolina where his attorneys will file a notice that they intend to file an appeal, and then they will get to work on the appellate brief. And look, the Murdaugh family is a storied legal family in South Carolina. This appeal might very well go before some appellate judges that have known members of that family.
Yeah, Ken, thank you so much for being here with us as this news just broke. We appreciate all of your insight here. Is there anything else that you'd like to add, whether it be about the verdict, the trial as a whole, or what comes next?
I think tomorrow we are going to see a very harsh sentence handed down by the judge. It looks to me, if I were the judge, I think a life sentence is probably appropriate. It's a very heinous murder that he's been convicted of committing, and he took the stand and tried to lie his way out of it, which at this point, you know, that's what the jury has rendered. So I think we're going to see a life sentence tomorrow, and we're going to see a notice of appeal probably filed within the week.
All right, thanks so much, Attorney Ken Belkin, joining us here on Live Now from Fox. We appreciate your time and perspective on this, Ken.
Thank you for having me, Lexi.